We often end up in toxic relationships not because we are unaware, but because we silence the warning signs our intuition gives us. We see the red flags. They may be subtle at first: dismissive comments, invalidation of our feelings, hot and cold behavior, or manipulation disguised as concern. But instead of speaking up, we suppress our discomfort. We downplay it. We say to ourselves, maybe I'm overthinking, they didn't mean it that way, or everyone has flaws. We rationalize the unacceptable out of a deep-rooted fear of being alone, misunderstood, or rejected. The truth is, toxic dynamics often begin with our silence. We're so afraid of confrontation or losing someone that we choose to betray ourselves instead. We allow small slights to go unchecked. We minimize our pain to avoid tension. We give someone the benefit of the doubt over and over again, until it costs us our peace, our energy, and our identity. We mistake tolerance for love. We think being patient, kind, and forgiving will make the other person change. But toxic people don't change because of kindness. In fact, the more you allow them to cross your boundaries, the more they will test how far they can go. You give them an inch, they take your self-worth. When a man is unhappy with himself, he'll project that pain onto the woman who's trying to love him. It's a harsh truth, but one that's often overlooked. Instead of looking inward and facing his own demons, he takes the frustration, the anger, the insecurity out on the person closest to him, the woman who shows up with love, hope, and vulnerability. She becomes the mirror for his dissatisfaction, the outlet for his unrest. And in doing so, he ends up ruining her happiness, not because she's done anything wrong, but because he can't find his own peace. It's heartbreaking to watch because the woman doesn't ask for his pain or his burdens. She steps in with open arms and an open heart, hoping to build something beautiful together. But when a man is wrestling with himself, his failures, his fears, his worthlessness, he can't give her the love she deserves. Instead, he pulls her into the storm, making her responsible for his emotional chaos when that should never be her job. This projection creates a toxic cycle where love gets tangled with resentment, trust gets replaced by doubt, and happiness becomes a fragile, rare moment that feels like it's slipping through their fingers. The woman ends up carrying more weight than she should, feeling broken and confused because she can't understand why her love isn't enough to fix what's wrong. But here's the truth she needs to hear: she is not the cause of his unhappiness. His inability to find peace inside himself is his battle to fight, not hers to carry. And no matter how much she tries to save him or fix him, she can't heal wounds he refuses to face. Real love isn't about sacrificing your happiness for someone else's pain. It's about two people who are whole enough, on their own, choosing to grow together, not dragging each other down. So if you're the woman trying to love a man who's unhappy with himself, remember this: you deserve happiness that's not conditional on his mood or his struggles. You deserve a love that lifts you, not one that pulls you under. And sometimes, loving yourself means walking away from someone who can't love you the way you deserve because he hasn't learned to love himself yet. And then, one day, you look around and you realize you've lost yourself. You've become emotionally drained, constantly anxious, and riddled with self-doubt. You wonder, how did it get this bad? The answer is simple but painful: we stayed too long, we forgave too much, and we ignored ourselves in the process. Healing begins when you stop trying to fix the relationship and start trying to rescue yourself. You must begin to understand that not everyone deserves access to you, especially not those who disrespect you, gaslight you, or treat you like you're disposable. It is not your job to make toxic people love you better. It is your responsibility to love yourself enough to walk away. You are not being too sensitive for wanting to be treated with kindness, consideration, and respect. You are not asking too much by setting boundaries or expecting emotional safety. The moment you start standing up for yourself, truly standing up, things will change. You will lose people who thrived on your silence and compliance, but you will gain peace. You will gain clarity. You will start to rebuild your life in a way that aligns with your worth. So ask yourself, how much longer will I keep shrinking to fit into someone else's comfort zone? How much longer will I silence my truth for the sake of someone who doesn't hear me anyway? When a woman replaces you with peace, not another man, you can be sure it's truly over. That's the part so many miss. They see her silence and think she's just confused, that her distance is only temporary, that she's simply being emotional and will come back when the storm passes. But what they don't realize is this: when a woman starts craving peace more than your presence, you've already lost her. She's not searching for someone else to save her. She's not rebounding, she's recovering. She's not hoping to make you jealous, she's quietly, powerfully, making herself whole again. The most unstoppable version of a woman is the one who no longer needs to be heard, fixed, or fought for because she's finally found safety in her own space. It's not that she didn't love you. In fact, she loved you so deeply that she forgot to love herself. She showed up, stood by you, and gave you grace you didn't even realize you needed. But eventually, she grew tired of begging for the bare minimum, tired of questioning her worth, tired of feeling like loving you meant losing pieces of herself. So now, she's exchanged chaos for clarity. Arguments for quiet mornings. Anxiety for deep, steady breaths. That constant feeling of walking on eggshells has been replaced with a sanctuary she's built for her own peace. There are no loud exits, no dramatic goodbyes, just a gentle, resolute absence. Because when a woman truly heals, she doesn't chase closure, she becomes it. Another man could have been forgiven. She could have competed, cried, or pleaded. But when peace walks in and takes your place, understand that her soul has already moved on, and where she's going, you're simply not invited. To every woman who has chosen herself, who has chosen peace over pain, and healing over chaos, your strength is a quiet revolution. Your journey is proof that sometimes the bravest thing you can do is walk away and build a life that feels like home inside your own heart. You can't build love without safety. Period. Emotional safety is the invisible thread that holds a relationship together when the storms hit. It's not about being perfect, it's about being safe to be imperfect. When a woman says she wants to feel safe, she's not talking about doors being locked or bills being paid. She's talking about being able to exhale around you. To cry without being dismissed. To express a need without being mocked. To share her truth without being punished for it. Safety is in how you listen. How you respond. How you show up when she's not at her best. It's built in the quiet, everyday choices, like choosing patience over ego, clarity over mind games, and consistency over chaos. And here's the thing: without emotional safety, love turns into survival. She'll tiptoe around your moods. She'll silence her voice. She'll shrink her spirit to avoid setting you off. But when she feels safe, she glows. She softens. She opens her heart in ways that will make you feel like the most loved man in the world. So if you want to lead, lead by creating safety. Not control. Not fear. But steady, soul-deep safety. That's where true love lives. The best way to get your spark back is burning everything down. You have to reset your life. You have to reset your mind. You have to let go of everything you were, everything you had, every lie you told yourself. Then, something else can take their place. Only a few do it. They let go of years and decades, wins and failures, skills and pride to go somewhere new. It's hard, but simple. You can restart any time you want. Anytime you have the strength. There's no feeling like it. Beauty starts with a blank slate. And a blank slate starts with the fiery destruction of your entire existence. Eventually, that inferno turns from pain to warmth. You sit there for a while, basking in it. Then, the idea hits you. And you're never the same again. Don't know who needs to hear this, but in a healthy relationship, your feelings should never be a debate. If something hurts you, it matters. Your partner's role isn't to argue about whether you should feel a certain way or to dismiss your emotions. Their role is to listen, to understand, and to do better in the future. Healthy love isn't about being right all the time. It's about being kind, compassionate, and learning how to care for each other in ways that make you both feel valued and respected. If your partner is only interested in defending their actions or minimizing your experience, it can make you feel small, unheard, and alone, even when you're together. That's not how it should be. In a real, loving relationship, your partner will want to know what bothers you because they'll care about your happiness. They'll listen because they respect you, and they'll work to grow alongside you. And yes, sometimes they'll mess up, but the difference is they'll own it. They'll acknowledge when they've caused pain, and they'll make the effort not to repeat it. Because in love, making each other feel safe and understood is far more important than being right or winning an argument. Remember, love is not a battlefield. It's a space where both people should feel seen and supported, not where one has to constantly defend their emotions. A good partner doesn't gaslight you into believing your feelings are invalid. They stand beside you, ready to face the discomfort and work together to build something stronger. If you're in a relationship where your partner listens, values your emotions, and tries to avoid hurting you in the future, hold on to that. That's what a healthy relationship looks like. If not, maybe it's time to reflect on whether you're being honored in the way you deserve. You are worthy of love that doesn't dismiss your heart. You deserve someone who cherishes your feelings, not someone who makes you question their validity. Keep that in mind, because at the end of the day, love should always feel like a safe place to land. 1. Never again return to what hasn't worked. Whether a job, a business deal or a relationship that ended for a reason, you should never go back to the same thing expecting different results. There is a reason it did not work. If you are going back, make very, very sure that something is different and that reason is no longer there. 2. Never again do anything that requires you to be somebody else. If you have to be someone else in order to do something, don't do it. Be honest about who you really are and be that person. Find your strengths and exercise them with full engagement. 3. Never again try to change another person. You can't force someone to be or do something they do not wish to be or do. When you realize this, you give others the freedom to make their own choices and experience the consequences. In doing so you find your own freedom as well. 4. Never again believe that you can please everyone. You cannot please everyone in your life and you don't need everyone to like you. Once you understand this, you begin to live purposefully and make decisions based on what is best, not on who is going to like it. 5. Never again choose short-term comfort over long-term benefit. Don't avoid doing something you need to do just because it will be difficult or painful. Anything of value has this rhythm to it: pain first, payoff later. If you face the pain early, the payoff will come. Living out this principle is one of the most fundamental differences between successful and unsuccessful people, both personally and professionally. 6. Never again trust someone or something that appears flawless. When someone or something looks too good to be true, he, she, or it probably is. This world is imperfect. No one and no thing is without flaw. When you realize that, you become less vulnerable to being seduced by people and situations that seem perfect. 7. Never again take your eyes off the big picture. Our brains are wired with the capacity to see the long term, not just the moment. No one event is ever the whole story. When you view an event in terms of a longer story, your mind can put that event into a different context, the big picture. Focusing on the big picture enables you to function better emotionally and perform better in life. 8. Never again neglect to do due diligence. When making decisions, take your time and confirm that what you are getting is what you think you are getting. You owe this to yourself. No matter how good something looks on the outside, it is only by taking a deeper, diligent, and honest look that you will find out what you truly need to know. 9. Never again fail to ask why you are where you are. In any situation in love and in life, in relationships and in business, you must ask yourself, what part am I playing in this situation? What do I need to learn from this, so I can turn this situation around or make sure I never find myself in it again? 10. Never again forget that your inner life determines your outer success. People who are fulfilled know that their happiness and success does not depend on external factors, but internal ones. Always remember that your success comes from inside you, your heart, mind, soul. Strengths, talents, and energy, and how you take all of that to the outside world and invest it in life. There's a quiet kind of power that people overlook in high school, the power of being unbothered. Not cold. Not fake. Just deeply focused, deeply aware, and too locked into your goals to waste energy on nonsense. While everyone else is running around chasing gossip, beefing over friend groups, or throwing shade online, you're moving differently. You're thinking long-term. And that mindset? That's what separates the loud from the successful. Drama is a distraction dressed up as relevance. It feels important in the moment who said what, who's mad at who, but truthfully, none of it adds to your life. It doesn't give you better grades. It doesn't get you closer to your goals. It just burns your energy, poisons your peace, and feeds people who have nothing better to do. You don't owe your attention to chaos. Not every fire needs your oxygen. Your energy is currency. And once it's spent, it's gone. Every argument, every passive-aggressive group chat, every fake friend you keep entertaining, that's mental energy being drained. And if you're not careful, you'll wake up exhausted, behind on your work, and wondering why your glow-up never happened. The truth? It did try to happen. You were just too busy reacting instead of rising. Being drama-free doesn't mean being weak. It means being strategic. You don't have to start fights. You don't have to prove yourself to people who don't even matter. But if something does cross the line, if someone really tries to mess with your peace, your name, or your success, you hold your ground. You don't start chaos, but you finish it. That's not weakness. That's emotional intelligence with boundaries. As the saying goes, don't start a fight. But if it starts, be the one who ends it. Learn to pick your battles. Some things don't deserve a reaction. Silence is power. Distance is power. But when it is time to speak up, move with facts, calm, and clarity. Let your response hit different, not loud, but final. The strongest students aren't the loudest in the room. They're the ones who move quietly, protect their peace, and let their results speak louder than anything they could post. Because real confidence isn't about clapping back, it's about knowing you don't have to. They don't announce themselves. They don't try to impress or force their way into your world. They just stay. Slowly. Softly, steadily. They ask how your day was and actually listen. They remember the little things you forgot you even said. They don't fill the silence with noise, they sit in it with you, making it feel less lonely. Around them, you stop performing. You don't have to explain your moods, your fears, your past. They don't need you to be better or fixed. Just you is enough. And somehow, without even trying, they become the safest place you know. They never demand your energy, but always give you theirs. They don't love you with fire and drama, they love you with quiet consistency, with soft eyes, with hands that never let go when things get hard. That kind of presence is rare. Most people want attention. These people want connection. And if you're lucky enough to find someone like that, don't wait for a perfect moment to appreciate them. Tell them. Show them. Hold on. Because in a world full of loud exits and hollow promises, the ones who quietly stay and love you gently are everything. A woman's detachment doesn't always start with distance or silence. Sometimes, it starts in the middle of a conversation mid-sentence when she realizes she's said this exact thing before. Multiple times. In different ways. With different tones. Calmly. Then emotionally. Then quietly. Then in frustration. And still, nothing changed. Detachment begins when her hope starts to run dry. When she's no longer angry, just tired. When she stops checking your tone, stops caring. About your replies, stops holding on to the idea that maybe this time, you'll finally understand her. She begged in her own way. Through her loyalty. Through the way she kept choosing you despite how unseen she felt. Through her late-night overthinking sessions where she tried to figure out how to say it better, how to express it softer, how to fix something she didn't even break. But after a while, that energy dies out. Because no woman can continue pouring from an empty cup. And when she finally realizes that nothing she says will make a difference, she stops speaking altogether. That's the moment most men notice. When she's no longer asking where you've been. No longer reminding you what she needs. No longer repeating the same conversations. That silence. It's not peace, it's detachment. It's the sound of a woman slowly reclaiming her power. By the time you realize she's changed, she's just finally stopped exhausting herself for someone who made comfort out of her discomfort. So if a woman is still talking to you, still expressing her needs, still repeating herself, it means she still believes in you. Don't let her go quiet. Don't let her give up. Because once she detaches, she's already halfway gone. The pain of walking away from someone you still love feels like tearing away a piece of yourself, like trying to breathe with half a heart. Because love alone isn't always enough. Because sometimes, holding on hurts more than letting go. Loving someone doesn't automatically mean they're good for you. It doesn't mean they meet you where you need to be met, or that they bring out the best in you. And yet, knowing that doesn't make it any easier to leave. Because despite the pain, despite the way they fall short, a part of you still wants to stay. Letting go of someone you love isn't just painful, it's terrifying. It means choosing to walk through grief with your eyes wide open, knowing you could turn back but forcing yourself not to. It means resisting the urge to reach for them in moments of weakness, reminding yourself that love isn't meant to feel like a war between your heart and your peace. The truth is, you can love someone deeply and still have to let them go. Not because the love wasn't real, but because it wasn't right. And that will never be an easy choice, but it will always be the one that sets you free.